Today's guest is a Lib Dem candidate. You all know Kev anyway, and John Doyle. They're going to explain a bit about what they do in the communities and obviously a backstory on themselves and all that. But before we go anywhere, Kev, do you want to do your message about clearing things up?
No, it was just mad. As we're saying, I was on last time with a lad who's ex-EDL, and I got so much flack from the right and from the left. And it was ridiculous because, in my eyes, I wanted to come on with him to find some common ground, which we had on a lot of things, do you know what I mean? And it was disappointing to see, especially the far left, coming out on Facebook and calling me this, that and the other and say, I'm doing this for career or hopping from parties. As I've explained in the past, I was in Labour. If I wanted to stay in Labour, I'd have been a councillor by now. Do you know what I mean? I was the chair of Everton, the vice chair of Walton. I was in the Greens. If I wanted to just be a councillor, I'd have gone in Sefton Park in 2023 when he wanted me to go to Sefton Park. But it was just disappointing to see the backlash when you're trying to engage. It's like you're getting backlash for engaging with people. And you know more than yourself for the stuff that people have said. It's like you've got one side attacking you, you've got the other side attacking you, and you're in the middle going.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
But that's that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what? You had your own people attacking you?
I had everyone.
Why would they attack you? What was their reason? You must have gotten to the bottom of it.
Their reason was they put a post up. This is.
What did they say? What did they actually say to you?
I don't represent the left. I've jumped from party to party for my own ambition, which is...
No, I saw that post. Forget that. What I'm saying is, what was your people's...
the Dems?
Yeah.
They were fine.
Like the right wing, for example, like you know...
Well, I get a lot of crap off the right wing anyway.
Okay.
Like reform and things like that. I do get stuff online. But the worst I had was off the left, which is mad. They were going on about, don't represent this, don't represent that, and going on about Palestine. I've been a member of Friends of Palestine for over 14 years. Every graphic that goes out for Palestine, for the protests for the last 2 years, is all me. Do you know what I mean? I've spoke at it 5 or 6 times as a representative of the Greens and as a Lib Dem. And it was just mad to see that, especially people who've known me for years, were liking the post and were like, what's all that about? You know what I mean? You know what I'm about.
Well, I saw that come up on Facebook and I was like, whoa.
It was.
But then I'm thinking to myself, like, no one's mentioned me.
You're all right.
I'm like, I've been kept out of it and didn't even know my name.
So. Come on, then I think I messaged Steve and messaged our friend Callum, and I was like, what's going on? Do you know what I mean? He just literally turned on me and I was like, so-called doesn't represent this and doesn't represent that. It was mad. But we're not going to get anywhere if we don't have dialogue with people.
Yeah, I agree with that, like. But you cleared yourself up there anyway. Do you want us to come on to do that? But brief description on yourselves and what you do.
Yeah, so obviously I'm the community campaigner for Everton West and John.
Yeah, I'm campaigner for Vauxhall. I've lived in Vauxhall for the majority of my life, except for when I was married. And I really just do it for the people because the people are lovely. And in my opinion, since Labour have been in, the people have just been taken for granted and ignored for far too long. And I just think enough's enough. So what we tend to do is that whatever's bugging the people, we try to change. Simple little things like picking litter up. We've been picking litter up today, haven't we? Or we'll cut grass back, or we'll take weeds away, or we'll cut trees down. I've done nearly all of Latimer Street. Yeah, because the people said we can't see the light, and then it's like, you know, from the Bible, oh, I've seen the light, because they've got light in the kitchen they've never had before, because the council just don't do it. Yeah. You know, the council own the trees. Surely they should have a squad that goes to these areas on a regular basis, cutting back the branches for the people. Apart from anything else, when they get so long, and we have seen them, you can cut your eye open on them because of a night and you can't see them and the lights aren't on, that's another matter. And you could walk right into a branch because they haven't been cut back. So they're the simple things we do, because at the end of the day, if you look at the council and you look at us, our clients are the residents. And if you ignore the residents and you don't look at what they want, you're not going to get in.
See, we went to somebody's house a couple of weeks back because she got in touch with me and said, back alleyway is overgrown, it's a fire hazard. She said the council won't do it and the housing won't do it. So I went to the council and said, why can't you do it? And he said, it's unadopted, no one owns it. But bear in mind, this lady's in the 70s, she paid 500 odd quid. I think I put a video up about it. So we went and done it, didn't we?
Yeah, just did it one afternoon.
You report it first.
Help the woman.
You give the council a chance to do it before I do it. Or he does it, because you don't want to do it and then they say, hang on a minute, you haven't even asked us to do it. You let them know that is the issue, and if they don't do it after a certain amount of time, you say, well, we'll do it because you're clearly not going to do it.
Do you think, though, that if you're saying you're going to do it, they're just going to think, oh,
no, because they hate it.
Oh, do they? Yeah.
Oh God, yeah. Well, we've just come along the road now by ours, and there's there's LSSL people out doing the weed, aren't they? And I've never seen that in Everton.
No.
Do you know what I mean? Over the last couple of months, they're really having a go, which is great for the community, but why couldn't they do that 5, 6, 7 years ago?
No, that's because we've forced it. Do you understand
Yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean?
So they've seen you.
They're now taking action now that they should have been doing for years and years and years. But because somebody else is doing it, they don't want to look shameful about it, you know what I mean, that they haven't done it. But I just think, as I said to you previously, it's quite simple if you've got a group of people who do certain tasks. If you say you're in that area on that day and you're in that area on that day, and it's a continuous taking trees down, taking branches down, picking litter up. How simple could it be?
Things, aren't they, really?
How hard's that?
It's the small things that matter really as well, isn't it? If you do like 10 small things, it'll outweigh, let's say, for instance, Labour, they do one big thing.
Yeah.
These 10 small things are all what matter to a community than like, I don't know, building a block of flats in a city centre or something like that. We're not going to benefit from that, are we really?
But even the big things,
absolutely not.
even the big things that they're doing. So, like in Everton, you've got the 2 parks getting redone. You've got Giant Street Park and the top park by the one stop at Everton Road. So there was a consultation for that. No one knew about it. I only found out the morning of it. So even when they're doing stuff, it's like they're doing it for minimum people to find out about it. And then they go, look at us, aren't we great? We've done this. There was a council office. It was quite funny, actually. We went down there, I said, will you come with me? We went down to the consultation. I'll tell you the story about backlash I got off that podcast as well, of some fella threatening to kill me, which is just like an everyday normal thing.
Why did you do that?
I'll tell you in a minute, let me just go back up to this. It's just normal people, aren't they? But,
No, abnormal.
abnormal.
Yeah, but normal people don't threaten to unalive you.
No, that's why I said abnormal.
Abnormal. No, but just go, sorry, just before I forget, back onto the parks. We went down, didn't we?
Yeah.
And I know,
The meeting.
I said to the council officer, I said, it's good that the Section 106 money's being spent, the community money. He was like, yeah, yeah. I said, 17 million, wasn't it? He went, no, nowhere near that. I said, it was 17 million. And his face dropped because no one would know that. They've sat on 17 million of community money for years. And all the parks that are running down and stuff like that, that could have been spent 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, instead of leaving it till now. And it's almost as if they want to go, look, we've got the park done with the picture. It's not the council who got that done. That's your money. Do you know what I mean? That's coming from the council. It's coming from your money. It's coming from the money that developers, if you're lucky with this council, I've paid the 106 money. Do you know what I mean? But going back onto that, yeah, there was a guy, I was out getting a petition because we've got parking up by mine and parking up by John's, which is basically for Bramley Moor. Massive botched up consultation again by the council. And we were at the UKIP protest, and there was a guy, what did he call you, a prick?
Yeah.
Is that the one I was there as well?
You were there, I never seen you, but you were there, wasn't you?
Yeah.
Guy called you a prick, didn't you?
Yeah,
So
first thing out of his mouth.
we were arguing back, and I was either on Charlie Beach's video or Billy Moore's, and this fella come out of his house and was flipping at me saying, like, you want refugees here, blah, 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 you want them to rape our kids. And I was like, hang on a minute. Went off, and then he basically went like that and said, well, you're dead.
Fucking hell.
I was like, hang on a minute. And then a lad came out to help, and he said to the lad, like, get back in the fucking house. But
Fucking crazy.
it's crazy because you're getting it off everyone. I've had it off, like, I've had hate mail, like I was telling you.
Yeah, it's something like that,
Do you know what I mean? And there's more of that, I can't say on this, but there's more of that to come. Do you know what I mean? Because there was a councillor called Gerard Woodhouse, who was the councillor for County Ward, who ran the L6 Centre, and he's just been arrested for malicious communication without harm or something against the female Labour councillor. And what we can gather, that's hate mail as well. And that's a common thing in Liverpool politics, is you get hate mail, you get snide comments. Do you know what I mean? It's like banging your head against the wall for doing the right thing.
Is that just off of one particular party though? Or did you get it from all angles?
Do you know what? Touch wood, I was in the Greens, so the Greens have been okay.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But no, it's mainly Labour that we get.
Mine's only Labour. Yours is a bit different because there are some flags by you. There's none down Vauxhall, and I'm not saying why that is or why that isn't, but you're getting it
I
off.
mean, I get-
You're getting it off like reform people, aren't you, as
But in
well?
general, it's Labour.
Whereas it's Labour all the Labour is like snidey. They'll say things like, someone has a go at you, didn't she, on a text saying, all you'd ever do is pick litter up and do this and that. And I said,
I got accused of working
yeah,
for
I said, hang on a minute, don't have a go at him. Vauxhall's mine. If you want to have a go at me.
She accused
But
me
don't
of
address
working for the
me,
drug
address
company.
the Liverpool Lib Dem party. And if you're moaning about picking litter up, we pick litter up because the residents ask us. So if you're not in touch with the residents like we are, that's you're to shame for
Yeah.
that. You should know what they want, and they want the streets to look nice. That's all it is. So to criticise you for doing that is stupid, because you're going against what in this business, your clients are the most important thing, aren't they? The clients are the residents.
Yeah.
So if something's bugging the residents, you try to alleviate that, don't you? Help it, finish it, do it.
The user acting on it, aren't you?
That's all we do all the time. Not harming anybody, but then you get criticised by because they don't do it.
Yeah.
You've got, I mean, your Labour councillor for around here doesn't seem pretty active. Funny about Joe, wasn't it? We were in a meeting in the
In the
Rotunda.
Rotunda, that was hilarious, actually.
So what happened was, there's a piece of land outside the Rotunda, and the Flanagan Group wanted to develop on a housing. But this piece of land was I said given away, didn't I, for £1. But Councillor Hanson corrected me in the meeting and said, no, sold for £1. It's given away for £1.
£1.
And these wanted to develop on it. So there was a meeting about it in the community college. But it got a bit heated, didn't it? I don't think he liked the fact that we were questioning them. And I said, well, that's great, but when they build this development, are you going to get money back for the council as soon as you give it away for £1? No, that's not how it works. So we had a bit of an argument, didn't we? But there was a guy there who stood as an independent, didn't he?
Friend of ours.
Yeah, and at the end of the meeting, he's having a go at me and him, and then he mentions our friend's name. So he goes, doesn't he? He's sitting next to us, Charles, and he goes, what did you say about me? Next thing, Councillor Hanson, you bastard, flew at him. Asked to be pulled back.
By the police.
By the police.
Restrained.
The police had to pull him back. So John put a complaint in, didn't you?
I put a complaint into the council. Yeah.
He's an elected official. He literally went, you bastard, flew at him. The policeman had to pull him back, didn't he? I've never, for like an elected official to do something like that was like, wow.
And everybody now within the Rotunda organisation can't stand him.
No, because of that.
They actually call him arrogant, ignorant. He talks down to people. You don't do that to people. That's rude.
Yeah.
You know, you feel as if he thinks he knows everything. He doesn't know anything.
But it was to see like an elected official.
I think
like
power's gotten to his head. You know, with authority. You know, he's looking down at people.
I think the thing is that, and he did mention this. He's been the sitting councillor in this area for about 15, 20 years. Wow. And I think when they get to that sort of stage, they think they're untouchable.
Yeah.
Well, they are, because I think if someone half decent stood in this area, they'd absolutely batter them.
Has anyone stood against them?
I don't think they have.
No, not like a proper campaign.
No.
Because don't forget, like in my ward, before people think with elections you just stand and people vote for you. It's proper hard graft. I've been doing this for like 7-8 years campaigning, and I only lost by 50 votes in 23. So if I would have lost by 200, I probably packed in and thought, listen. Because it was that close, I thought, I can't really just walk away now. So it's 4 years, basically, of doing what you do. It's not paid and stuff like that. And sometimes it's like banging your head against a brick wall, because if you're exposing stuff or you're asking questions they don't want answered, you're going to get flack from them, do you know what I mean? We were talking about the parks. They're going to flatten a park by mine off Gregson Street. So they said they had a community consultation, which for Liverpool Labour Council is a load of rubbish, because they never do a consultation properly. Look at the parking permits. China Street Park and stuff like that. So I went in and said, well, how many people did they go to the consultation? He said 15. I said, how many people got invited? He said 300 by post. So 15 people are going to decide the future of a kid's playground, and they're going to get it flattened. That to me is wrong. It should have been put out to the wider community, and not just one day where you go in and it's the final answer. So now they're going to flatten this kid's park that my nieces and nephews used as a kid. For what? It should have been a wider consultation. It's like, they do what they want to do. As long as it's covered like by law and within the council, where there's only so many people you have to consult with, they'll just do the bare minimum. Whereas like if I got in, I'm sure if you got in, everyone who lived around that area would be getting a letter off me saying, do you know this is happening? Do you know this is happening?
So are they not doing that? Are they not giving anyone any heads up of what's going on?
Probably the bare minimum. I think prime example was, there's a place in my ward called the Whitechapel, which do a lot of for homeless, but they opened a new one on the corner. Used to be the old Cairo student building. And the consultation letters went out. And I think out of the 90 odd consultation letters, 50 of them went to vacant student accommodation because it was during COVID. But why would you send students a letter? Because students who live in halls are not permanent community members. They're just, it's fluent.
They're not going to be asked anyway, are they?
They're not asked, but why would you send them a letter when they're not even in the uni?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They're off because of COVID. There's no consultation there, because you're not sending it to the people who actually live there or have been there 20, 30, 40 years. You're sending it to people, one, who probably won't care, and two, they don't exist. But as long as they've ticked the boxes to say so many people have been consulted, we never heard anything back. You never heard anything back because you didn't want to hear anything back. That's why when we start going in and saying, well, why is this and why is that, you just don't like it.
I actually sent an email to Councillor Harry Doyle with regard to Everton Park Sports Centre. Basically what's happened is that most of it's closed except for the swimming pool, and the rumour is that once they've repaired the roof and spent £150,000 on doing so, it's going to be handed over to Notre Dame. So I sent him an email saying, when's the consultation? When's it opening? And are the residents that it was built for going to be able to use the facilities in full during opening? Have I guess what?
No.
He hasn't replied.
Oh no.
Well, see, with Councillor Doyle,
He's just don't give a...
I purposely don't message the email the Labour councillors because why should I? Because they don't do anything anyway.
They
I'm not
don't
giving them a
reply.
heads up of what I'm doing. But I put something up about the sports centre because I started the campaign 2 years ago to keep Everton Park Sports Centre and was still campaigning. And I put it on Twitter and Councillor Doyle said, it's funny, in the 2 years you've never emailed me, Kevin. So I said, sound, I'll email you. He emailed him the next day. 6 weeks on, I haven't had a reply. So why tell me to email him if you're not going to reply?
Accountability. How do these
There's
people in politics and people who are councillors and so forth, where does their accountability come from? How do if you do not perform or you meet your,
Do you know what you mean?
like imagine you had bullet points and you said you're going to do all these things, and you fail to do them, then where does the accountability come from?
To be a
who
councillor,
gives?
To be a councillor, all you have to do is attend one meeting every 6 months, and you're a councillor. That's it. So if you're like a fair few of them, and you go on the list, and you go, bloody hell, Dave. I think for Vauxhall Ward, I think when I put a request in, I think the 2 councillors there in 2 years have done 12 surgeries, which is like one every 2 months, which is ridiculous. If you get in, you want to be doing one at least every fortnight, at least. But there is no accountability, and that's because of the way it's been structured. The worst thing that ever happened to the city was the recommendation by the government that we go to every 4 years. Because their idea was, you get somebody in, they've got 4 years to bed themselves in and work in the community, whereas in the past, there was 3 years in, and it was like a roll, one out every year. And that give a bit more chance to get, well, he's crap or they're not good, and get them out.
So the way this city is divided, it's areas, right? So many different areas, and what
85.
they have their own sorry, how many?
85, I think it is.
So Liverpool's got 85 boroughs, different boroughs.
Wards,
wards.
wards.
Okay. So in London you've got different boroughs, right?
Yeah.
So it's like boroughs, but 85 different. So you've got 85 different councils in Liverpool alone.
Yeah, but then in them
Wow,
wards,
that's quite a lot.
It's not 85 councils, it's 85 areas where a councillor or a couple of councillors run the area, or they're supposed to.
Right.
But to go back on the accountability, and Kevin mentioned how long it is 4 years, they get paid for that,
Yeah, I know they do. So they get
Good on them,
paid.
they get money, and they get money if they're on committees. But to
Right.
me, I'm new to this probably a year, there's no accountability.
There's no accountability.
And you look at
so-
things like our friend said before about the flats going, they call it the pump fields developments in Leeds Street and all that. I know the people, I'm in construction, I know the people who are building that. That will have zero effect on Vauxhall or here, nothing at all.
See,
What's happening in these areas? I can name you 5 stalled or ready to go sites in Vauxhall that should be developed for young people to live in. Because what's going to happen in the future is that you're going to get young people of about 24, 25 who think, I don't want to live with my and dad anymore, I want my own gaff. You can't live around here because there's nowhere to live. So they move out the area. So what's going to happen in this area, Vauxhall, Everton, will wither and die. Because when all the old people die, that's the end of it.
there's
Unless they start building social, affordable homes for people. So you can stay in the area that you love.
Yeah.
But you can't at the minute because name one, there's none around here, is there? What's getting built around here?
The problem is, there hasn't been a council house since 2011. Do you know what I mean? So you're talking 14 years that the city council hasn't got
There's
a council.
not going to be any, I don't
If
see
we get in
foreseeable
27,
future.
when our manifesto comes out and stuff like that, we will build council houses in a certain way because you've got councils there in across the country who are buying up houses in Liverpool now to put people in. What did that tell you? Do you know what I mean? It's like Serco and is it Red Rock?
You mentioned it last time about Serco, but
Blackrock, they just
I see there's a lot of potential in Liverpool as a city. It's a good city. It's got a lot of potential because I've come from London and London's so extortion in comparison, like price-wise and everything. So I see a lot of potential here, but then when you come out of London and you go to like Watford, Hemel Hempstead, St Albans, as you're working your way slowly up the motorway, and then you've got Luton, which is a tiny little town compared to Liverpool. It's only a small little town. This is a city, and it's a big city. It's got a massive port. It's got its own airport. And I see the potential here, and I'm thinking that the people are vibrant. They're bloody amazing. The Scousers are amazing people, yet the city's not booming like it's supposed to be. And then I've studied the history of it, where the government wanted to bring poverty into Liverpool and robbed the industry and shifted it to Manchester.
That's basically what
last 100 years sort of thing. But still, for what the city is, when you go to the main town centre and you see how packed it is and everything, or even on the nights out. There's so much potential here still that there's something going on seriously wrong with people who are in charge of all the different councils. They're doing something seriously wrong, because this city should not be in the way it's in
We've
sort
had,
of low
I think
level
Labour got in
poverty, sort of. There should be a lot.
15 years since Labour got in. Can you name a major, apart from Bramley Moor, which got money off the council and stuff
Bramley
like that?
Moor was a bogus fucking project though, weren't
Apart from that, there's not an absolute, like, as we were saying before off camera, the likes of Liverpool 1, ACC, this is all under Lib Dems. Capital Culture was under Lib Dems, so people go on about, you have people going on about the coalition, and as I've said before, no one in Liverpool wants to be in coalition with the Tories. It's the last thing you want, because we're not Tories. But now with Carl at the helm and looking at what we're doing, there's a massive chance in 27 to bring that back. Do you know what I mean? There's so many good. I mean, we're going to scrap the green bin tax as soon as we get in. We're going to reintroduce free parking of an evening and weekends in town, because that's killing businesses off.
Yeah,
But this council don't seem to care, because you go to them with problems and you just get ignored.
I think he's got a good shout. Just he's got reform there as well. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I hope people when they look at who they're voting for or thinking of voting for, look at who's been there. Do you know what I mean? Because reform, fair enough, they've obviously got the right to stand, but where are they now in the communities? What are they doing in the communities? I had a call last night at 9:30 off a resident saying, Kev, listen, the street's pitch black, the lights are off. We've contacted the council and nothing's happening. So we were doing a little bit this morning, and our leader Carl came and said to Carl, listen, do you have one light in the street? Can we put this in today? And Carl was like, yeah. That's like 9:30 of a night. You won't get, will reform be doing stuff like that?
In any place when you're complaining about something, we have to do it, say, about 5 times, because they just ignore you. There's no email after your email complaining, and they send you a reference saying, we will sort this out in 5 weeks. Then you go back to where it is, and it hasn't been done. So you have to start all over again because they haven't done it. So there's no email after them giving you the references, like, we've done it, or we're not going to do it because of X, Y, Z. There's no communication
If
whatsoever.
they're incompetent at doing the jobs, why are they even there? Why are the council still employing these people?
Well, I don't think it's the people. I think it's actually the council. The council surely must bear the brunt for what's happening in the city, because they're the people who are getting employed to look after the wards and the areas. If they're not doing the job, it doesn't matter who the paid employees are. They're responsible to them, aren't they? So they need, what I've found, they need a new system whereby you're kept in touch with what's happening with that complaint. And the only way that you know, is it being done, you have to go back to the place and do it.
Yeah.
I had one in Mark Street, didn't I? Fella reported a light out, you know, a street light that was lighting up the whole of this place. So I complained and complained and complained. In the end, the street light got reinstated, and I was made up for the people in that area. Do you know what? Labour said they did it. They had nothing to do with it whatsoever. Yeah. I did it.
That's why we don't. Yeah. Well, that's why I never go to the Labour councillors, because if I go to them and say, listen, this is off or that's off, they'll do it and take credit for it, but it's not their work. Do you know what I mean? And that's what it was quite funny when I've been doing a litter pick in my ward for 5 years, once a month now. And when we first started, there was another litter group who took pictures of our litter and tried to claim it was theirs. And that's what it's like. Do you know what I mean? They won't give anyone any credit, even if it's great for the city, but it's a Lib Dem thing.
Well, they put it in the papers that they've done it.
Yeah.
It's like a propaganda machine, aren't they?
That's what they are. Well, yeah, and the Echo's a bit like that, to be honest.
It's they're on their side.
It's a lot of propaganda. But I think the problem with Labour at the minute is because Reform are so far right, Labour is shifting right. The Tories are going even righter.
Because they're getting so many votes, they're following their manifestos.
Yeah, because you go back 5-6 years when Corbyn was in charge. I used to, when we was on the Palestine rallies and stuff, I was there with councillors. Jane Corbyn, who was my councillor, I was their agent. You go on them now, there's no one there. Do you know what I mean? It's like they changed the model. I mean, it's like they changed the models with the wind. I'm still the same person I was 10 years ago. I'm just with a different party. Do you know what I mean? I haven't changed anything to believe in. I won't stop nothing I'm doing just because I've gone from the Greens to the Lib Dems. Do you know what I mean? But I'm with the Lib Dems because I firmly believe for the city, the Lib Dems.
Aren't they meant to be neutral, the Lib Dems? Are they meant to, only because someone said to me this the other day, are the Lib Dems meant to be the neutral party in the city?
We're more left than Labour, and we've got some very good left policies. Especially, I think we were talking about the policy that would be great to bring in here, which is use it or lose it, basically. So John was saying about the stall site.
Yeah, it's stalled sites. What they do, there's one in particular, a site that's been derelict for ages, and the council actually own the freehold on that. So they've given that to a certain company, planning permission. And I was involved in a piece in the Echo about it, and they went for a comment from the other side. The lady said she had to, and she spoke to Joe Hansen, And Joe Hansen said, well, there's very little we can do about it.
Joe Hanson's not the white.
Well, that's his fault because he wrote the lease.
Yeah.
So in the lease, you should say, surely to God, planning permission, you need to commence construction on that within 12 months. Otherwise, we'll take it back off you. How simple is that?
I know.
Why? So what? The Echo went to Hanson for a comment.
They said they had to be balanced. That's what
Yeah,
they
but
said.
why didn't he go to the why didn't he go to the councillor of the ward, Christoph or
No
or
idea.
Gord?
No
This is
idea.
what you've got. You've got two councillors in Vauxhall who, in my opinion, are useless. Do you know what I mean?
Are they in charge of Vauxhall?
They're not
Yeah.
in charge. No,
Yeah.
no. Hanson's in
they
charge
are.
of Vauxhall.
No,
Yeah,
not he's down
no,
here, isn't
no.
Yeah.
On paper,
paper.
those two people are. My ward, sorry, where I am is Vauxhall. It's a 2-councillor ward because it's that big. So you've got 2 people there, but Hanson keeps going to Vauxhall, interfering. And when we had the meeting in the Rotunda about the building that the Flanagans wanted to build, it was quite ironic when I said to him, "This has got nothing to do with you."
Well,
Yeah, it has. Excuse me. He said, "See that field there? Half of that's in my ward." It's not. It's all in Vauxhall. His ward ends at the wall of the Rotunda Community Centre. Anything that way is Vauxhall.
Is that not Vauxhall? Does that come into Vauxhall? The
Okay,
Flower
okay.
Streets? Does the Flower Streets come into
No,
Vauxhall?
that's Hanson's.
Is it, yeah?
No. Hanson starts at Great Mersey Street and
Yeah.
comes this way.
Okay,
That's the
yeah.
easiest way of describing it. Yeah. Mine's that way. Do
Yeah.
you see? But I do a lot of work with the Rotunda because I think they do a great job for the community. Fantastic. That's why I was at the meeting. I was requested to go. But him being there and saying, a fella who's been a councillor for how long? 20 odd years.
So he said.
My ward is half of that field. And I've only been doing it for a year. It's not. I know where it ends and starts. That's all in Vauxhall. So why was he at the meeting?
So you're going back.
It's got nothing to do with him.
That's probably his excuse. What his real agenda is hidden. He's
Yeah,
not
of
going to
course
expose
it
it.
is. Of course it is.
Cause and effect. Okay, so he's coming there, and there's, normally you have to just observe someone silently and see, just from out of the box, just observe and see what's going on, and you'll always know who's the culprit behind that move that's happened and who's the greatest benefactor. Okay, so when you observe quietly, you see, and then you see exactly who's done what and why, who's made the biggest gain from there, and how it's been all covered up and brushed under the carpet. So you can tell how corruption is done, and who's doing it, who's pulling the strings. And I'm not much into politics, but just hearing about it, I'm just thinking, it's
Everyone's
just
got their own agenda.
there's agendas, but then there's a lot of things covered, and I think it should be transparent. The finances and the budgets should be transparent for the public.
It should be.
It should be,
that's law.
and then you'll know exactly who's gaining, who's doing all the dirty
Not
work.
necessarily,
and,
because
you'll
what
learn
you'll find is that organisations that are set up in CICs or different things, you've got to connect through about 10 different organisations to connect them together. It's not that simple. It just doesn't go to them, or it doesn't go to them. They're all linked through different businesses, through different CICs. Do you know what I mean? And
Well,
that's the problem.
The thing is, you look. There might be 10 different companies, right? But when you go to a company's house, you can see exactly who's involved and who's chairman and who's in the shadows as part of that board, and you can work that out. And what you'll find is that they are all sister companies of one person, and they're all part of it, and they're all part of the board, and they're all bloody milking it and filling their pockets up. And this is how it is. And this is where I see corruption within the government of the whole country. When you look at the whole country, I see corruption ripe, and it's benefiting the rich, and it's benefiting the corporations, and they are exploiting the working class. They are robbing the working class and keeping them hand to mouth, heavy taxes, but the rich are getting richer, and it doesn't make sense. Why is it that the working class's taxes, as their earning gets up, it turns from 20% tax to 40% to 50%, whilst the corporations are making millions and billions, and they are clear-cut 20%, and it never rises? How the hell are they getting away with it? Why is it that the working class, who's trying to feed his family, is getting robbed?
Well, we had a woman
It
yesterday.
just doesn't make sense.
You're out
And
in
this is where
Vauxhall.
I find that corruption is ripe in this country.
There is corruption, obviously, but a lot of it's mismanagement. A lot of it's ineptitude. Do you know what I mean? Not everything's corrupt. Like I want to go back on.
corrupt laws really being
It can't
actioned.
be corrupt laws because when a law comes into, it's got to go to Royal Assent or whatever. So it's got to go through Parliament. It's got to go through the House of Commons. It's got to go through.
But
it's
this
not corrupt.
Parliament this Parliament, they are all like, they are all MPs and whatever, and they are taking bribes from these big corporations to put new legislation, new laws in, which benefits the corporation, but not the working class. And then they are milking it. They've got loopholes for themselves.
Apart from the COVID contract with like Hancock and all them and...
No, but it's
name
worse.
me some more, name me some...
Like, for example, this ID thing, Tony Blair's inside, and apparently it's his son who's going to be getting 100 billion or whatever. But the thing is, and then,
name me one now law that's corrupt. About what's been, you're saying all these MPs are on the take. You tell me one. You tell me one law and one MP that's on the take.
Well, I think the job thing that I gave you description of how they're taxing 20% and then it goes up to 40. Like you're earning as a worker. If you start earning over 50,000, your tax will turn to 40%. Anything, so up to 50,000, you're going to be 20% taxed. Anything over, so imagine your salary's turned to 70k, that 20 grand you're going to earn on after 50k is going to be 40% tax. Once it goes over another, 80 or something, it's 50% tax. How can you? So the thing is, there's no reward. No, it is corruption because it is. I'll tell you why. The thing is, it is because the thing is, you should name it for what it is, okay? Because it benefits the corporation, which makes hundreds of millions and billions in profit, and they only pay 20% tax. That's corrupt.
I don't agree.
Why is it that the working class is paying when they're earning not even close to the millions or billions?
That's fair enough, but it's not corrupt because it's passed through. I don't agree with it. Do you know what I mean? I don't agree with that.
Who's giving them so they can just make laws up as they go along?
I'll tell you something you should do. Go on the government website and have a look at the laws that are passing every day because no one does that, and you'll see what's going through every day, and you'll be surprised the amount of different laws getting brought in that no one knows about because people were talking about this on the telly or people are talking about that on the telly, and while these things are happening on the telly, there's stuff going through Parliament all the time that no one's aware of.
I hear that.
This new legislation we're getting for Liverpool at the time to put in from the council is absolutely ridiculous. The fact that they're going to do basically kind of a dispersal zone in the city centre where groups of more than 6 people can't congregate without being, you can be disbanded, you can't wear a face mask. The aim of it is to deter gangs and protests, but they won't use it for that. They could use it to stop a protest if they don't like the protest. Do you know what I mean? If people are genuinely
people are wearing ballies or masks.
But people, I know people who still wear a mask because of COVID, basically. Now I don't. But
is that Antifa's excuse?
See, just throws these comments.
Can I give you 2 examples? We touched on before about the meeting at the Rotunda when we were trying to stop a development. Do you think selling a prime piece of land for £1 is corrupt?
I think so, because it's obviously benefiting somebody.
And I'll give you another example.
It's benefiting somebody internally.
It's benefiting their friends.
Their friends. So,
and I'm sorry to say this, who got the rest of the money?
Well, this is what I'm saying, that there's clearly going to be an under-the-table payment given for that £1 transaction.
You can't say that. That's what I'm saying.
No.
It's not corrupt.
It's not corrupt.
Okay, so
it needs looking into.
It's not corrupt. It's stupid.
It needs.
It's not legitimately corrupt, but there is some form of
Kev, 2 seconds,
along the way.
please. Look, when you've got big corporations giving MPs large sums of money, and it's what is it? They got
lobbying. It's called lobbying.
Yeah, no, it's lobbying, but they've given a legal term for it, right? Okay, because this is clearly bribing, right? That when you come into power, we've given you millions, we've given you hundreds of thousands to support your campaign, and when you come into power, you're like, I've got a leash on you, basically. Do you know what I mean? And then that means you're gonna do everything what I ask you to do. And
you can't take money like that as a politician, though. If you can't just take money for yourself. So
but then
what happens is these big corporations will come in and go, okay, well, it used to be like the tobacco lobby and stuff like that. We want this to kind of pass. So what they'll do is they'll say MP, I don't know, John Doyle, we want you to speak at our fundraiser. We're going to pay you $1 million for 15 minutes. And that's how you get around it. Because you're giving them a donation to speak of $1 million, even though it should be 50 quid. That's how you're getting around it, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so that's it, that's the word.
It's a legal way of getting around it.
They're giving donations.
Yeah.
It's a play on words, isn't it? It's just a play. But I'll give you another example of what I consider corruption. Do you know the Bramley Moor Stadium where Everton now play brand new?
The new one, but I've seen that.
I live, as I probably told you before, in Vauxhall, and I have a park and permit scheme where I have a permit for my car and one visitor. Now that restriction runs from 10 a.m. to midnight, 365 days a year. That's disgusting, isn't it? Because Everton don't play there 360. But what it's doing, it's touching on what you were saying. Everton the council are pandering to Everton Football Club, or the owners, the Freaking Group, I think they're called, saying to them without saying it, you can have a concert here 365 days a year. We've already sorted it, and they're putting two fingers up to the residents. It's disgusting. That's corruption.
So going back, can I just sorry before just to tie in with John, sorry. So the same permits they've got by there, we've got by ours. So when this new parking consultation went out, we live closer to Goodison than to Bramley-Moore, and we've never had a parking permit. So ours is the same as by John's. What we've done is we've gone round every house round by mine. We're Land Grove Cooperative, and I think we're about 70% done. So we're going to get everyone in my area to sign a petition to say take them down and replace them with the same ones that Bramley-Moore's got, which is basically on match days and event days only. But I don't understand the deal they've got with the council, because I don't know if you know where Prince Edward Street is and Everton.
Yeah.
So once you go past there, people can park for free. But then they should have had residents only parking. So in one of the meetings we went to over Bramley-Moore, I said, who paid for the parking? They didn't know, so I put it into the council. And it turns out the council paid for the parking. But on social media, it was Everton who paid for it. So the council's obviously lied, because they've paid for the parking. What was it, 30 grand, he told me? Over 30 grand to pay for this consultation. Yeah, the place that needs it the most, they're not getting it because they said Everton wouldn't pay for it. But Everton weren't paying for it in the first place. So now where we've just been by SFX Church, even 9:30 on a Sunday morning, is rammed with cars. They should have had resident only parking in September. And for some unbeknown reason, I don't know what's gone wrong, it hasn't been rolled out. But this is how much they don't care. It's like, as John said, they're pandering to Everton. But what about the areas, what about the community that's...
So the way I see it, they cannot... See, when you're coming into politics and anything to do with serving the community and the town, you have to be fair and absolutely giving fairness to the common people, the common society, right? The mass population of the common people. Now, the common people are not going to fill their pockets up because they don't have the money and the millions, right? So the way they look at it, we have to serve them and constantly dish out to make their thing better. But now we can't do that. So they are going to the corporations and the companies who got the big money and say, okay, yeah, we'll go in bed with you. You do a deal and we'll cover it from the media in this sort of way. But, you know, under the table, this is a deal. This is what we negotiated. And that's how they do it. So the way I see things and the way I see society breaking down is because of the way this councils and politics and, you know, you look at it, you know, England used to be an amazing country once upon a time. When you go back to the 80s, 90s, it was bloody brilliant.
Weren't in Liverpool, was it, in the 80s?
80s, 90s, as a whole.
90s was good
as a
growing
whole,
up,
90s was amazing. You know, 80s, 90s was really good. And the thing is, communities stuck together. The neighbourhoods were united. And, you know, it was amazing. And the thing is, you had community centres everywhere. And people used to go after school tennis classes or badminton. And there was a sports hall in there. And all the kids from the neighbourhood would come to get together. And you know, it was amazing up and down the country, this was. All of a sudden, I just see poverty everywhere. You know, houses boarded up and everything. No one's getting new houses no more. No new houses are being built. No new families are moving in there.
That's the Labour Council's fault.
And in the olden days, what I remember, and even Luton, you know, people would be able to buy their council house after 4 or 5 years. You know what I mean? They had the right to buy.
Can you do that still now?
I think you still can.
You can, but the thing is, they're not building houses. They're not moving houses. Now, do you know what? There's housing associations. You can't buy housing association.
No, I'm saying they're building houses in certain areas. I want to know, we spoke a while ago.
And it's private companies. It's all private companies that are building, and there's a scheme where you can buy it. But it's not the same as when the council gave you a house, and it was how the council was helping society. So, you know, when the Queen passed away, my mum actually said this to me. And I said, what, you know, I said, they're all like, you know, I said, Zionist, blah, blah, blah. She goes, no, don't say that. She was very good. I said, what do you mean? She goes, this Queen was really good. She's done a lot for us. She's done a lot. She goes, I wouldn't have what I have when I was, you know, single mum and I had nothing, you know, she said that the Queen was really good and, you know, she done good for a lot of people. And I respect, I thought about it and I thought, do you know what? My mum's right in what she said. You know, the Queen, when the Queen was alive, there was, you know, she did do a lot. But the thing is, since the 2000 on, you know, the country's just going down, down,
going
down.
down.
25 years, it's just...
Can I correct myself from before? It's 85 councils, not 85 wards. I meant to correct myself before.
Yeah,
I was waffling on. But that's what I'm saying. Yeah, you're right. When we were growing up in the same year, you had here, then you had the Gordon, you had the Rec, we had China Street by ours.
Yeah.
All that's gone now.
But this whole road, this was like Lark Lane. When I grew up in the 90s, you probably know as well, this was like Lark Lane. We had a big massive wine bar, everything, and now
everything's shutting down.
Pound shops, charity shops,
See,
apart from Kiddieland, I suppose.
I thought we were going to get round here, probably down Vauxhall as well. When Everton's new stadium got built, I thought we were going to get a regeneration up here.
No, they're only interested in the freaking group. They don't give a damn for the residents. The residents don't get anything. It's like your friend there saying there's no trickle down.
No.
It's like pump fields. Pump fields, yeah, there's big firms. And where's that money going to go to on all those big tower blocks?
I know.
To investors and to the people who are building it, developers.
Okay,
but what the council don't do, which they should do, they should trickle that down somehow into the area of Vauxhall, which that's in actually. But it doesn't, they don't do it, Kevin, do they?
No, I'm saying that the section 106
it should happen, but it doesn't happen. They don't do anything for the residents, they pander to business. Yeah. It's like the parking in town. Did you hear about that one? They've now squashed the free parking up to 6 o'clock.
That's what you're saying.
I didn't even know.
They've done that, it's squashed. After 6 o'clock, people were allowed to park in town.
You're allowed to park after 6, wasn't you, till 8 in the morning, was it?
That was to involve and to get loads of tourism into the city, to make them go to theatres, to the cinema, to go and have a meal. So what's going to happen now? They're not going to come, are they?
Not going to come, no.
Because they've got to pay for parking. Also, do you know the poor people who work within that industry, in the restaurants and all that? How are they going to factor in a tenner a night? Yeah, everyone's got to pay.
Everyone's getting fleeced.
So how is that sensible? How is that doing good for the city? It's not. It's harming the city.
It's exploiting and basically filling pockets up again of
we're going to
parking fees.
But the problem with the
private companies who are taking charge and doing the tickets.
It's like but nothing's ever that black and white. Like with the parking fees.
Private companies.
I know. With the parking
fees, it is.
With the parking fees, right? So this is you want to talk about accountability with the council. I asked the council months ago, from the new parking restrictions that have come in, how much does the council get from each fine? They come back and said to me, one fine £70, one fine £50. That's all he said. So I went back to him and said, no, I didn't ask that. I asked what you're getting as a council per fine. Then he come back and said to me, this was about 2 weeks ago, if it's a £70 fine, we get £35 if paid in 2 weeks. It goes up to 115 if not paid in 2 weeks. Same with the 50. You haven't answered my question, so I've gone back again this week and said to them, can you answer what I'm asking you? Because I know for a fact it's going to be buttons. All the money they're going on as if like the £70 parking fine is going to improve areas by, it'll be about 6 or 7 quid maybe. But why can't the council just say to me, yeah, okay, so we know what you mean. They've literally like gaslit me 3 times. I've done an interview for BBC 2 weeks ago outside Everton Library. Now that's the way I learned to read and write. That cost has doubled from 5 million to 11. The council own that building, so I'm saying to the journalist, it's just ridiculous the fact that you've got all these amazing. This is like one of the most one of the top 10 most endangered Victorian buildings in the country, Everton Library, and it's just rotting away. You spent it
council own that, they've not done anything to repair it.
From the Isle of Gladstone, so you know what happened with that, I mentioned it last time. So I've gone to the council again and said, okay, 12 months on, how much is the Isle of Gladstone paid back of that £340,000 debt they owe? Because they got 50% wiped off straight off the bat. The council not telling me again. So I've got to go to the ICO. Bearing in mind, Liverpool City Council's just been wrapped by the ICO for basically, they could end up in court because they're taking too long to answer freedom of information requests. On the library, I've got an FOI, freedom of information request, that's 4 years old. Do you know what I mean? Why can't they answer a question for 4 years? But going back to what you said, it's very interesting, the dynamics with the Isle of Gladstone as a commercial business to the dynamics you've got here. Yeah. And I don't really understand that myself. That's why I said we'll look into it more, because this is serving the community. That's serving itself. Do you know what I mean? If
shareholders.
Anything, I was putting in FOIs to say, okay, well, how much in maintenance is the Isle of Gladstone spent? The council will send the people out and charge him for doing like a footy off the roof, a kid's shoe off the roof. Well, you've got a place like this that's actually in the community, working with the community. And by all sounds, but from what we spoke about, it's not getting a bit of help off the council.
25 years or something like that.
25 years and not one bit of help off the council.
No.
And to me, that's disgusting because this is probably one of the only community centres in the north left. Do you know what I mean? That's why I'm jumping at the opportunity to work with you, because by mine, China Street shut. Obviously, the Rec's shut and other places. We need to be keeping places like this open, not closing them down.
The Rec's are part of here. The Rec can be reopened. It just needs a lot of funding and taking them back to the shell to get going again. Do you know what I mean?
One thing with the Rec I always love about, because I used to do all like ghost stories and all that back before I was into politics. I like paranormal. And the Rec is on the site of the old Kirkdale Gaol, isn't it?
Yeah.
With these young people.
Yeah.
These like load of homes.
It's a housing estate now, isn't it?
Is it? That
Yeah, at the Robley House. We call it the Robley House. Don't know why.
That got pulled down.
And then it's just a housing estate there now. Yeah, we should get in there when we were kids. Like.
But it's sad, because even like, you got places around by mine where they won't even let me in the door. Do you know what I mean? Just because of what I'm doing. And it's the same with John. You're only trying to do the best for people. Again, it's not, you can't say corruption, but you follow the money. Do you know what I mean? You'll see organisations get the same amount of money every month for the last so many years, and it's like, I always feel, especially in the north, and especially like to Kirkdale and Vauxhall as well, if you want to start up a new CIC or start up something, it's going to be hard to get LNF money, neighbourhood fund money, because a lot of places already are relying on that money constantly, whereas you aren't here, because by the sound of it, you don't really seem to get much.
Nothing. You know what I mean? Nothing.
Yeah.
Well, that's the reason why there's no community centres, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because remember, there used to be years and you used to have communities in all the different areas. I want to bring that back. But the communities are dying because of a lack of housing, mainly.
Yeah.
There's nowhere for people to live. But I don't believe in building houses. I believe in building a community. What I mean by that is a load of houses with a dentist, a doctor's, you know, a community centre, a pub maybe, whatever, so that, you know, that'll grow rather than be just a load of houses where people just park the car and go in the door.
Oh, yeah.
They get involved in the community, and that's what we're lacking around here. There's no community.
No, there's no communities
Love
anywhere.
and care, you know, love and care between neighbours.
That's community, isn't it? Community
We used
spirit.
to go to each other's houses. Like, I remember growing up, you know, as a kid in the 80s, and used to run across the road and go to the kids' houses, you know, play in their house, in their garden, in their arcade machines that they used to have in their house. I used to love it, and they used to come to our house. But the thing is, you know, kids who used to go make friends with white kids or whatever, it didn't matter. We used to go to each other's houses and, you know, go to the lady, the grand like lady we used to call mum. She was an old lady. All the kids used to go to her house, and, you know, we used to have a good community, and it's like, it's non-existent now.
I think in Liverpool,
It's like,
the reason why I think it's over the last probably 15, 20 years there is a lack of community is down for Liverpool City Council, because they've closed everywhere in like community centres and stuff and blamed it on the Tories. But I can tell you now, Liverpool Labour has done more damage to this city than the Tories or the coalition ever did.
I agree with you there.
Do you know what I mean? You're talking up to £300 million mismanaged.
I can see
Land
that
given
as well.
away for £1.
Wasn't
like,
it a Tory who got European money in this
we
city?
were getting money off the European, through the government, and because we were missing deadlines. We done it with Everton Pier. There was this great idea of having a pier out of Everton View. I think they spent like £90,000 on a consultation and blah, blah, blah. They missed the funding. They had to send the money back to the government. They done that last year with the homeless. They had money for homeless before Labour. They had to send that money back. This is because the council we've got at the minute, the councils we've got, the vast majority, to me, are inept. You've got, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying all Labour councillors are, because I know a couple who were decent. Do you know what I mean? But you've got people who were put in because they'll vote how somebody tells them to vote, or you don't have to do anything. Just sit there and get your allowance.
Wasn't Labour originally created to help the working class people?
Meant to be, yes.
Supposedly, yeah.
Supposedly, wasn't
It's still got that badge, hasn't it? But it just doesn't happen.
No.
It doesn't happen anymore. They pander to business.
So you would think that with the community spirit going, I was speaking to a fellow the other day, it's going to be a mad terminology, but he said he feels like an ethnic cleansing on communities, what the government is doing to communities and to eradicate communities
Disbanding,
completely. Don't want the working class people getting together. I think that's why pubs went. People get together, discuss ideas.
It's to weaken.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You want it,
To weaken people, the community, because
divide
if
us.
you're divided, you're weak. You know, your fingers snap separate. But if you're united, it's it's
especially with them
solid.
rings.
That's it. It's solid. So
Well,
what
you
I'm
lost
saying,
two
I'm just
teeth,
saying
they'll
that-
take the rest out.
they're just gemstones. But I'm just saying, genuinely,
Gemstones.
gemstones. These are gemstones for good luck and good, good
Or maybe my way.
fortune and good.
Like a knuckle duster.
I'm going to publicly cry out for a dentist here.
No, I don't punch. I'm not a violent person. But,
Yeah, they all say. But I think like what you're with the I can't even laugh because my teeth are terrible. with community stuff, it does feel like that, because when in China Street where I used to go, where I met Callan, our friend, used to be open for dinner hour for camping, so kids used to come over for dinner hour and play badminton or whatever, or pool, and then you'd be open after school. Now there's nowhere for them to go. We used to be open every day of the week, apart from Sunday. So you'd have the same people, especially if what they don't really factor into is kids' mental health as well, because you've got kids who used to come in who were having a hard time at home or whatever else, used to come in for like respite or play pool, we used to have the Sega Mega Drive going back and all that.
Yeah.
It was great. Now, there's nothing.
They used to have DJ classes and all sorts, man. Kids used to love coming, and a guy would be teaching them how to do this and do that, and you know, make music even. So there was so many activities growing up. When, you know, just looking back, and I'm just thinking, I feel sorry for the kids of today. I'm thinking they've got none of that, and no wonder they're like on the streets and like gotten into like you know, knife crime and all that. Why is that? Because there's no community centres. They're out there gallivanting and getting into crime and getting used by the older
We never had
gangs
social
and,
media,
you know,
so I think a lot of it is when I was a kid, and you were a kid as well, going back, if you went to school, and say if you were getting bullied in school, probably 9 times out of 10 that stopped at school, because when you went home, you were home. Yeah. Whereas now, if something's going on in school, you're getting it in the house because it's social media constant. I think that plays a lot in it. It's different times as it was community-wise, but there's still no, like, I remember growing up because we lived in our street for 30 odd years. I was born in John Baggett.
Yeah.
And then we moved where we are now.
Callan told me something about that the other day.
John Baggett?
Yeah. You were on there, aren't you doing something there?
Oh,
yeah,
the building.
some houses getting built on the other side.
But the wrong thing about that is that when we were there years ago, the people who lived there have been moved out for this new
Wasn't he promised a place there?
And they're not getting it now.
Yeah,
so
the
people who we grew up with are basically, I think they've started a couple of times this development, but they're not going back to the people who were originally there. Like when I used to have flats on Netherfield Road, there was like, I think it was Corrin Tower and
Kosovo Whites, flats.
They were Conway, well, there's another story behind that. If you're talking about corruption with the council, that's another story. But with you used to have the flats, so when all them people got moved out the flats, they got moved into by mine. So you got Mazzini Close, which was Mazzini Towers, you got Seven Oaks. But now, when people get moved out, you just get moved out. We're helping a family now. A young lady and her husband who've got a kid, and the kid's called Arthur. I'd love you to have one as a guest sometime, because the story's unbelievable. He's only 7 months old, he's got cancer, he's got life-limiting illness, which means he won't live past 30, I think. He's going to be blind by 13. So many different conditions.
You're more than welcome to come on, you just come down with them, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because we done one last week, I was telling you, with that Politics Joe, but in their flat where they are now on St Anne Street, it's full of mould and full of damp. This is a private landlord, so they're saying to the Housing Association, my baby, who's 7 months old, is not allowed home because of the state of this flat. We need a house. So this is tourists are aimed at, because they've been contacting tourists, and tourists have treated them absolutely appallingly. I've put complaints in. Carl's had a meeting with the CEO of tourists 2 weeks ago, and what it turns out is they're saying that you need to be on, obviously, property pool, and the tourist guy said there's no way you can bypass it. Now we're finding out there is ways you can bypass it, but this poor family are living basically every day in the week in Manchester in the Ronald McDonald house, because when the baby's ready to come home for a bit of home, like rest at home, he can't come home because the flat's full of damp. This, you know what she actually done, which blew my mind, was she spoke to the local Labour councillor, and they said, get a petition of your neighbours and stuff like that, and that'll hold a bit of weight. It doesn't. That doesn't hold any weight. So Carl, which we talked, when Carl asked, the council come back and said, it doesn't hold any weight whatsoever. But she's also done that again to another couple who we stopped getting evicted. There was a couple who contacted our local councillor going back January, February, whatever, nothing happened. She come to us basically the week before she was getting evicted. Now me and Carl managed to stop that eviction, but it shouldn't get to that point. You need people to represent the community who are there and are there all the time. Do you know what I mean? And you're going back to this poor family, honest to God. After he's called, I'll send you the story so you can have a look at them if you want them on. The way tourists and the council have treated them is absolutely disgusting. Now this baby can't come home until they've got a decent flat, a decent house. But she's got 8 members of the family where she lives. So she's saying it needs to be round here because I'm born here, my auntie lives there, my ma lives there, my dad lives there. Everyone can chip in with this baby. And tourists are just not having it. And we're saying to tourists, hang on a minute, look at what's happening to this family, where at the minute now, their houses, I can send you the pictures of the damp. The flat they're in now in St Anne's, by St Anne Street, is full of damp. Yet no one's helping them. The council came out 2 weeks ago to inspect it and basically said, we need to contact the landlord. So if they're saying it's that bad, why can't?
Why can't the council move them out into a
Because you've got no social housing. The council is trying to help us now as it is. But why isn't the council in the area actually going down and doing what we're doing? A mum,
Yeah.
honestly, it breaks my heart because when a mum messaged me the other night saying, honestly, I'm crying for what you've done for us. And that's what that's all I want, do you know what I mean? I want to help people. But when you're getting people like that who are in such a desperate place, it shouldn't have to get to that level of being that desperate. It should never get that far, do you know what I mean? They're more worried about trying to find somewhere to live and going out getting a petition with 300 odd signatures. That means fuck all.
Yeah.
Rather than going, oh yeah, we'll meet you for a coffee and this is our help. It just seems to be, especially in our areas and the solid labour areas, once you're in, you're in.
They don't care. It's like when I was there, I touched on before that I cut all the branches down on the trees in Latimer Street, only for the people. I was offered 600 quid and 500 quid off people. I wouldn't take a penny of anyone.
Yeah.
I'm doing it to see them in their face going, oh my God, there's light in my living room now. That's all I want. Don't want any dough or kudos or whatever. Just to help the poor residents that have been neglected for years
Do you
and
find
years
they're
and
reaching
years.
out to use more than the,
Pardon?
do you find that they're reaching out more to use now than the...
No, they are, and
Local
you know, as
councils.
soon as you do it, like, we'll do something and we don't do much about it, but he'll put it on Facebook, then I'll put it on the Scotty Road community, and I'll
Yeah.
put it on the Ifield Street community, and you get like 100 likes. That's enough for me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I don't want any dough or nothing like that, but
It's
for the people
recognition,
to be
innit?
happy and appreciating what you're doing for them, that's all that matters to us.
Yeah, what you're doing with this chopping the branches and everything, it actually saves a lot of costings in other areas later on, like, you know, because you get block gutters,
Yeah,
you
of
get
course you do.
roofing issues from the tree sap that comes, you know, there's loads of things. And the thing is, if you don't maintain the trees and the parks and the gardens and all the different things, like, it's going to create, and you know, just
the problem down the line, isn't it?
just it's going to just overgrow, and it's going to cause, you know, mold issues and loads of different issues.
Well,
So
sorry.
maintenance is part of this, you know, week in, week out, or every once a month, you know, someone should go out and cut the grass off the park, or, you know, do trim down the branches. You know, this should be done regularly, and, you know, any council or, you know, whoever comes in, this should be maintained throughout. You know, this is how you keep your city good, you know, beautiful.
But the reason we do it is because the council don't do it. They haven't got a maintenance programme. I'll jump onto another subject, which is Everton Park Sports Centre. At this moment, they're spending £150,000 on repairing the roof. Do you know why that is?
Why?
Because they're incompetent to put in a maintenance programme. When you got a problem on your roof for £150,000, that must have started somewhere, mustn't it?
Yeah.
A couple of roof tiles missing. So if you got a maintenance programme, you fix the roof every so often, don't you? You don't pay £150,000, then allegedly it's going to be handed over to Notre Dame.
What I had heard on Everton Park yesterday was from somebody who's involved. Apparently, it should have been open on Monday, Everton Park, to the public. It's not. It was meant to be open to the public Monday. What we're now hearing is that it's not allowed to open until the security cameras are fitted. Now, that's a load of bull, because you're going back to when I started the campaign, there were security cameras in there anyway. So why isn't it allowed open? What I think they're going to do personally is keep it closed until they hand it over to Notre Dame. Well, not Notre Dame, it's St.
Joseph's
Multi-Academy Trust. So that's great, as long as they keep it open and open for the community as it was. But they can't say that. They're going to say, Ali Doyle saying it'll stay open for the community, but what does that mean? Does it mean one afternoon a week?
Yeah.
How much is it going to be? Do you know what I mean? It always seems to... I've got an FOI in, because it took them 6 months to tell me how much they're paying for the roof, which was the 157 grand. I've got an FOI in now saying, since the CAT community asset transfer was first brought up 2 years ago, how much have you spent on maintenance of Everton Park and Park Road? Because what they're basically doing is taking away two lifestyles, two leisure centres, two community centres really, from two of the most deprived areas in the city, and just giving them away to the private sector.
But when you look at Everton Park, think about this. That's all we've got here, isn't it?
Yeah.
Nothing else around here, is there to
Everton
go
Park
to?
was great growing up.
And same as me, I played squash and everything in there. But that was a community hub. And my idea would be that even school kids, you sort of get them to go in.
Yeah.
You know, you one day a week, such and such a school uses it, and that. So you're building up the community through having Everton Park open, but not handing it over to someone to do whatever they want it to do.
It'll barely be used once it's handed over.
Pardon?
won't it? It'll barely be used by the school once
No,
it's handed
that's
over.
what I asked Harry Doyle, which he hasn't replied to. When's the consultation? Because there should be a consultation about what changes they're trying to make to it. When is it going to reopen? And are the residents of the area going to have 24-hour access to it? What I mean is they can go at any time and do any sport they want at any time of the day, because that's what it was open for in 1979, for the good of the community.
Yeah.
But it doesn't appear to be the good of the community when they're handing it over to something else to run, and we don't even know what they're going to do about it.
Everton Park is a managed decline. That's what they've done to it. Do you know what I mean? When you've got football pitches, which I've gone on about, they never charge them pitches for 4 or 5 years. So I said to the council, why aren't you charging? The council said, because they're not fit for public use. So I said, well, that's a lie. I said, because you've got the Scotland Road Kids League playing on it on a Saturday, and then you've got Notre Dame using it, so that's a load of bull. 2 days later, after I brought that up, me and Carl, who's our leader, went down to have a look at pitches. They bolted them all up and started charging. So why didn't he charge for 4 years? Only when I put it on social media and said, hang on a minute, you've been giving it away for free for years, while the pits are charging a $1 an hour for a 7-a-side pitch.
Yeah.
You've been giving it away for years. That gets brought out publicly, and next thing you know, the padlocks are on. They've ran it into the ground. When I was a kid, you could go upstairs and get a chippy.
Remember
Do you know
that,
what I mean?
yeah.
The boss.
Yeah.
Now, do you know what the upstairs?
What's up there now?
Council officers.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Head of
well,
parks
that's
is in there.
now.
We've got the worst park in the city that they've let run to the fucking run into the ground, and they're literally within spitting distance of that park.
That cafe went years and years and years ago. That used to be the good thing.
Boss,
the
that, yeah,
bats,
remember
when
that,
you
yeah.
all sorted, you're going to have chicken beans and sausage
Chips
and
and
whatever.
gravy, It was boss. But now, that's what I'm saying to you, like, there's people who've got in touch with me who use Everton Park in the morning, pensioners before they get there for like 7:45 or whatever. Now, I don't think you can use a pensioners bus past till 9:30. So all these pensioners who are going swimming in the morning, who's going to pay for their travel to go and go to Walton or whatever else?
I know.
Do you know Walton Lifestyles? That's an example of a CAT that's going wrong. They owe 800, what are they called? Old Valley behind it, over like nearly £800,000 to the council. So the council is saying community asset transfers are great, blah, blah, blah. If they work, they are. But what Park Road at the minute is going to be given to Liverpool Gymnastics. That's what they said. Liverpool, you go in company's house, they've got no money. St Joseph Multi-Academy Trust. You're telling me that this Academy Trust are going to be able to pay for the full staff, full maintenance, and keep it open as it was for the community?
I know.
When did Notre Dame open in 2017?
I haven't got a clue.
So when Notre Dame opened the school, the council massively messed up the contract by giving Notre Dame a permanent, one of the squash courts permanently, which is now a changing room. They gave the sports hall 9 till 3 every day, so you can't play like badminton or basketball or whatever. They gave the pool when need be, and they gave the gym, I think it was 9 till 12 every day, and the pitches. Now they got given that for 50 grand a year. And when you work it out, they're saying that Everton Park's saying that a $250,000 loss or whatever. That's because the deal you struck with Notre Dame is costing you that, because you can't hire out the squash court every day. You can't hire out the sport hall every day because Notre Dame's covered it.
If this council's losing money all the time, what are they,
Exactly.
what are they doing?
Well, this is what they go on about. I'm sick of hearing about the coalition, and up until Labour got in last year, every Labour leaflet was it's like poverty porn. Vote for us or the Tories are getting in. The Tories aren't getting in.
So they always mention the coalition. When they go
Oh,
on
in the
issues
council
all
chamber,
the
yeah.
time.
That's all it is. I think one of the journalists was saying it's like coalition bingo. They're going on about the coalition that happened years ago.
Yeah.
Trust me, I'm not going to lie. Labour council have done more damage to the city than the Tories.
I was saying this the other day.
The land that they're giving away.
I see it straight away. I'll be honest with you. Not just this city, the country. Keir Starmer, since he's come into power, the country's
He's a
gone
phony.
even worse than what it was. Like, I'd rather bring back the Tories, mate. I'll be honest with you.
You know what? I'm not saying something.
I'm saying, like, I'd rather have Rishi Sunak or whoever from the Tories running the country, even that Boris Johnson, like, you know.
He was funny, like, right?
I'm telling you, he's way better. Like, you know, Boris Johnson's clear-cut liar, yeah? Everyone knows it, yeah? But
He is corrupt.
he was way better than the bloody current Labour government, man.
Well, that's it.
They are like tearing this country a new bumhole, man.
Labour got in on a manifesto of lies. I've said this since day one. All the stuff they promised in this manifesto has materialised.
They're
Now,
not benefiting the poor
You've lied to the
whatsoever.
public. You shouldn't be in. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If in 2027 when we're going, if John says he's going to work hard to get Elden Grove open or whatever else, you will. That's a promise. Whereas with these, they're going, oh, this is going to happen, that's going to happen. And it's all bull. The two child, everything they're doing is against what they originally come out and said. And in Liverpool, you've got basically a load of nodding dogs who are like, oh yeah, we just vote how we're told because they get whipped. And if you don't do it, you could lose your allowance, you could lose the Labour status or whatever else, and that's all a lot of them care about. Do you think, for me being a councillor, you're just a community worker?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because you're based in that community. It's not like you're not an MP or whatever, you're based in your community, you're basically just a community worker, so look after that community.
I think the issue with them, to be honest with you, is that they've just been too comfortable for too long. I'm not being rude to anybody here, but when you talk about national politics, I'm not really interested. I'm only interested in my city.
Same.
And the way they are, it's just like, we'll get it anyway. So it doesn't matter what we do. That's disgusting. The words I'd link with them in everything we've said all this morning, incompetence.
Yeah.
They're incompetent of running anything.
Going against Labour, do you feel confident in turning them over?
Yeah.
Well, I lost by 50 votes last time, and that was because of...
So
you never paid
the thing is
vote.
now, imagine if in this city, if a different party wins other than Labour, for example, but then Labour's still running the country, does that mean that it's going to be problems? Because obviously the funding and everything, you know, it comes from the main government, right?
I think
how does it work?
you'll still get the same funding, won't you,
Yeah,
regardless of who's
you've
in
got to apply
power,
for funding and that, yeah.
which is not enough, but we'll just get on with it. And I'll give you an example of what Kev said before. We as a party, I like this party. My family have voted Labour all their lives, like probably yours and everyone's. That's all you'd ever do is res. So when I'm on the doorsteps and I'm saying to people, and I actually say to them, forget about any political party. Just vote for the person that's going to look after you. It doesn't matter what colour he is, or is he orange for Lib Dems, or he's a blue for Conservative. It doesn't matter. Is that person going to do good for you?
Yeah, definitely.
And also, when he touched on, we spoke about Eldon Grove, and that's perhaps going to be one of the things we're going to promise if we get in power. We'll rebuild Eldon Grove within a year. Do you know if we don't, I'll pack in.
Yeah.
Because we told lies. But you know what? We won't, because we'll do it. If we say we're going to do something, we'll do it. And that's what you've got here. It's not happening. Labour are not doing what they're saying. As we've discussed all along with like Bramley Moor, Everton Park, anything else you want to mention, community centres, it's just that they're not bothered, or they appear to be not bothered about the residents who are their clients.
Yeah.
They pander to business. They can't vote for them.
See, I think
I don't get it.
the
You know,
problem,
the nighttime parking. How is that going to help residents?
No,
All they're
it's
going to
not,
get, as you said, is they're going to get off the parking tickets, and then a cinema's going to close,
Yeah, but-
and then a theatre's going to close, and an eating place.
It's weird, right? Remember when I moved here and I said there's so many positives of this city, and all the positives that I mentioned, and I said, look, this city's so great compared to London. You can park your car even on a double yellow, and the parking wouldn't leave you alone. Say, mate, I'm just going to pick up my food from that shop. I'm in the town centre, so
Yeah,
don't
you get
worry.
5 minutes, don't you?
I'll give you a couple of minutes, just go in. So I'm running, got my food, and no parking. I said, in London, parking ticket wouldn't even need to come. The CCTV will take a footage off of it, and you'll get 75 or 120 pound fine through the post. So I'm like thinking, this is like a city that I went down south to just one night, and I come back with £500 worth of fines, yeah? And I was like, do you know what I mean? And this is what happened in London. So I said, come to Liverpool, it's amazing. You can park anywhere and this, that, everything. Now, I can't believe it. I'm listening to you guys telling me that we're going to be parking, and, you know, you're right, because the other day I was eating, went to a restaurant, and next thing I thought, oh, yeah, it's past 6 o'clock. Don't worry, we're not going to get... Next thing, there's a guy coming out giving tickets out. My missus goes, oh, he's giving a ticket. Lucky I never got a ticket. I jumped out. He goes, no, my mate's looking at your car. I said, no ticket. He goes, I'll quickly move it before you get one then. So I'm like thinking, mate, it's like 7 o'clock and they're dishing out tickets.
Yeah, but you can't go to that restaurant next time. And that's proof of what's going to happen,
Well,
isn't
this is what
People are not gonna
cheesed
go.
me off.
Yeah,
though.
they're going
I'm
to
thinking
swerve
this never
around.
used to
It's
happen.
Stupid.
Saves,
But then I'm thinking,
let's
But
leave
what
it
is
and
the
make it a
sense
ticket.
in that? Tell me the sense in that.
So this is the
Like
other thing
cancer.
I said. This is the other thing I said to the guys when I'm talking down south. I'm on the phone to them. I'm like, such a good city, same as London, big buildings, everything. But you got the crowd as well for a night out. But it's not the expensive extortion prices. So you can actually have a good night out with low money, with not a lot of money. And not just that, I said there's no that congestion you get in London where it takes you 2 hours to go for 2-3 miles from one end to the other. I said you don't have to do that. Over here you can get about still, and that's how good it is. So now I'm thinking to myself, I can't believe it. They're gonna put all this parking problems is gonna cause major problems, and then it's going to cause problems within the city as well.
You're
I
not
think it's going to
So
one
it's,
problem's going
it's
to cause other.
incompetence, isn't it?
It is.
Why I have a business, why would you do that if you had a business? Stop or cancel the nighttime free parking. Is that not beneficial to the city?
Exactly.
We're having no parking.
Yeah,
So now
of
they're
course it is.
introducing paying for parking. I'd just like to ask you 2 questions. What's the best asset of this city?
As an asset, what brings money in?
Yeah, it
No,
brings
no,
money in.
can I answer it?
Go on.
The biggest asset of this city is the people,
Okay.
by a million miles. I'll ask you another question. Why are they getting shit on?
I don't even know.
They are the city.
They are
The-
the people.
We
yeah.
are the
Peop-
city.
Yeah, the
It's
people
not
make
like,
it, yeah.
oh, it's something over there, or you got that big playground or that community centre. It's the people. I've always said this, wherever I go, the biggest asset of the city of Liverpool is the people. Now,
That's the
if you're saying Lime Street and you get off the train from Euston and you say, hey mate, where's the passport office? They won't point, they'll take you.
Yeah.
So why are they shit on? I don't get it.
I think that going back to like the 70s, 80s, it was a conservative city, do you know what I mean? We had Tory MPs and stuff. Everyone who's got this in their head that it's always been Labour, Labour, Labour. It hasn't always been Labour, 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 do you know what I mean? We had, obviously, the Lib Dems were in and stuff like that. And I think people, it needs to break that mentality of, as John said, you vote for who's working
The
for
person, not the
Right.
party.
you. Do you know what I mean? I've had experience over 10 years.
You're
in
right,
3
John,
different
though.
parties.
Spot on. You know, I never thought of it like that. You're actually spot on. You know, you should vote for the person who'll actually look after you.
Exactly, it's not the party. You can look at a
Person.
manifesto and agree with it, but the person there mightn't do it. We're not into like manifestos or big time politics. We're just helping the residents.
Yeah.
What do they need? They're pissed off about litter. They're pissed off about trees and weeds. That's what you do. It's not like highfalutin ideas of you do this and you put the money there and you do that and you build a park in Allerton. We're only interested in our lovely working class area with these lovely people who've been neglected and shit on for years
Well, that's
by
it, it's
Labour,
small
because
things.
Labour just think we'll get in. It's like Joe Anson here. He said to us, didn't he? How come I've been voted in 15 times? And I just said, because no one's ever been against you. That's why.
Yeah.
He's smug. So he in his head, and people like him, they think, I don't have to do anything. I'll get in anyway. So they don't do anything. They're not like us, wanting to help people. They just think, well, we'll get me 15 grand or me 20 grand, whatever to do. And that's what's happened with a lot of people around here. I think who've got into politics, you say to them, if you get in, you get 15 grand for 4 years, sitting on your ass, not doing your job. And it's criminal.
Yeah.
They should be brought to book, but they're not, because they're in for 4 years. So they just go like that, and they probably... I've said to Kev on a number of occasions, we've been doing this for ages, or I've been doing it for a year, he's been doing it for years and years. We're going to do it till 2027. I'll bet you in the 6 months leading up to 2027, they start doing things around here.
Yeah, they'll pop up
6
then,
months
yeah.
before. We've been doing it for 2-3 years.
Do you know what always makes me laugh with you sometimes when I've seen before you were active, when I was in the Greens, their councillors around there, they'd have a leaflet out, and every picture of the leaflet, the councillor would be in the same clothes. Because they literally
Taken
go
on the
round
same
in
day, in the same place.
within an hour.
Stupid.
Do you know what I mean?
Stupid.
What have we done today? We've done the litter pick, haven't we, this morning?
Yeah.
Then we had a meeting with Carl. We've come here. I was meant to be having a meeting at 2 o'clock this afternoon with one of our campaigners, Josie, but she's got music practice or something. But every day, like, it's always something.
You're
you know what I
always
mean?
busy every day, like.
No, it's, do you know what it
The
is though?
cabbage
It's
every
because
day.
we love the people. We absolutely love our people. So we're going to do all we do. We're doing things every single day. And sometimes I get told off by my son, you don't see your grandkids, you never talk to football, you just that and the other thing. Well, I've got a meeting, I've got that. Like tomorrow, I'll be honest, I'm at a governor of Trinity Primary School. I've got a meeting there tomorrow at 4 o'clock. I'm not saying that, I don't want anything for that because I want it up to school.
Yeah.
But that's what we're like. We're not into like politics or Labour or whatever, and what's the manifesto. We just want to assist the people.
That's it.
Yeah.
Now, if they like us and they want to vote us in, that's sound. If they don't, I'll pack in, because there's no point, is there? But when you're on the step and people say, oh, it's Labour, what do you vote Labour for? Because my nan did. Well, your nan's dead 60 years. Why don't you get a brain and think about who's going to help me?
Exactly, yeah.
Who's going to assist you on what you need from your poll? Well, it's not the poll tax money, community charge, whatever it is. Because you should be getting things for that money, shouldn't you? For that dough you pay every month.
Yeah.
You should be getting things. You should get your bins emptied, your trees cut down. How simple would it be to have a maintenance programme to cut down the branches of the trees?
Well, you should have,
If you've got a crew and you say you're in that street tomorrow, down there, then every 6 months, and that's all it needs. You cut the branches of them
I was saying
trees.
that to my missus.
So simple.
Just where I live, I said there's bushes coming out, branches out of the fence, and it's like, I said, the pavement is all like, there's nowhere to walk on the pavement because they're coming out so far. And I said, like, I'm surprised no one's coming and trimming them down.
Where are you again, Crocky Park?
This is in Kenny Farm. So I said to her, like, even the back where the bus stop, like, there's the path going. I said, no one's coming and maintaining, like, trimming it down. Yes, they send the big tractor to cut the grass over here, or that gets trimmed, but no one's trimming the bushes. I said, those bushes have been growing for years now, 5 years. This is my 5th year there, and I'm thinking the bushes are halfway into the pavement now. So when you're trying to walk, you have to like go around the bush and imagine someone else is coming from the other side.
We'll put it in. Send us some pictures and we'll report it.
Yeah.
The problem you've got, mate, honestly, is there's that much land in the city that they'll give away for cheap or give away for nothing or whatever else. If it's on that land, the council won't touch you.
They won't
Because
touch.
they've given it away.
I put loads of
but it's actually on the main pavement.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
On the
No,
main
you're right.
pavement
You're
on the
right.
road.
But if I put a complaint in about Eldonian Village, which you'll know as well down there, do you know what the council say? Private land.
It's wrong to get away with
Private
Great
land,
Homelessly
that's what they
Project
say.
Jennifer. You've got weeds overflowing. We cut the weed back by Wilcox Close. The council won't come on and do that because it's private land. But yet that private land is the same piece of land that the same council give away for nothing. So you're like, you can't have a boat, you know what I mean? You give that land worth £600,000 away for free to a developer who's sat on it for 7-8 years. It's overgrown, it's full of fly tipping and everything else, but you can't touch it because it's not your land, but you give it away for free. Yeah, it's the community that are bearing the brunt. It's not the council that are bearing the brunt, or the council is.
No.
It's the community that are getting.
Communities are always bearing the brunt of the councils, though, aren't they? And it's going to go on forever unless something changes.
Well, turn up and that's what I'm saying. That John said, wait till the election's coming up and there'll be in all sorts of pictures.
They'll be all over the place.
And they'll have, because they have to spend the money by a certain date.
I think what you guys should do is, whilst you're building your relationship with the community, just let them know this. Say, look, remember.
No, we do. And,
do you educate the people?
Yeah, the
Because
people
you know what it is?
around here
people
are
are
lovely.
lacking education.
Yeah.
On top of that, people are also get hoodwinked and brainwashed, radicalized. You know, very swiftly. These people are trained to speak sweet words, and I say that these are slithery, sweet words of a snaky, like viper. And they'll come sweet, but the truth is that they're snakes. They're not going to do anything.
This trial's coming up, isn't it, in 2027? The Joe Anderson trial with Derek Carton and people like that. So what I want is every voter or every household in the city to get basically a breakdown of the max calorie report. And that'll tell you what happened to your land, what happened to your money, what happened to the contracts. And people in the city should know what this Labour Council did.
What do you think happens in 2027 with him? Nothing.
It's all rumours. No, something will have to happen, obviously. But I think it starts a month before the elections.
Okay.
Which isn't ideal because you want people to know what they've been up to, you know what I mean? And I try and explain to people all the time about the caller report. It's online. It's a bit of a nightmare to read through. But if you had a breakdown where you could send to every household and say, like in mine, there's a piece of land on the end of Birchfield Street. I can say to people, see that piece of land there? That's full of fly tipping and overgrown with rats running across it. That was given away by your Labour Council for free. Do you know what I mean? And then you can do the same. And people should know in their area what they've been had off with.
Yeah.
Because once you start scraping away, it's ridiculous when you find out, oh, that went for nothing. We've got a campaign, haven't we, in Toxic called Lee Brady. And he's been cleaning up Juicy Street. So Juicy Street and Germain Street and places like that, they were given to the developer for basically next to nothing, or £1 it was. 5-6 years on, no development's been done on Juicy Street. It's full of fly tip and full of rats. The council should take it back. So what they've done is they put this thing, a notice up saying by a certain date if work doesn't happen, we're taking it back. That's all the crap, because either the work will happen or they'll ship it on to someone else. And that's what should happen to every piece of land. Like that land they give for £1 to the Flanagans. They should say, you've had that since 2017. You've had that for 8 years. Can we have that back? Because you're not building
I don't get, like, how do you sell like land, which is like, you know, it's on the land registry, like, and everything. You like, how do you sell it for like a single £1?
Yeah, exactly.
Because they can.
Basically.
It's ridiculous, and you know, it's not their money, it's my money. It's his money, it's his money. That's my money, that.
Yeah.
I'm in construction. I could have sold that for 150 grand tomorrow. Easy. But they haven't got the capability to know who are the likely people who want to buy that. And what they should have done, the meeting that we went to, it was to stop the plans going through because they refused to put affordable social housing on it. They refused. So the council said you've got to pay, I think it was 380 grand, something like that. and they said, we'll give you 60. So they had no intention of building social housing on that piece of land. But when the council sold that piece of land for £1, they should have stipulated what went on that piece of land. Is that not simple?
Well, not the same with Elden
You can
Grove
buy
as
it
well,
for £1, but you've got to put that on it, end of, nothing else. So don't apply for
Should
planning
have done that, like,
permission
didn't
for houses to make loads of dough for
So what's
yourself.
just sold it for £1 and not left it?
But there's 14 pieces of land that
We can show you it's only along there.
there's 14
Yeah, I know
pieces
what
of
you
land.
mean.
You've
I
got
kept it
the
as
same
a-
developer who got that for £1, got some places in Walton Village for £1. Now, Councillor Hanson at this meeting said that it was all correctly tendered and stuff like that. But these pieces of land that was correctly tendered, that was sold for £1, was sold a couple of years later for 65 grand. So how can they be properly tendered when it's in black and white there?
So you sold a bit of land to somebody for £1, and then they've sold it on for
65 grand, 4 pieces of land in Walton. This is what's
So
frustrating.
someone's benefited £65,000 for free, basically.
Well,
How dare you?
Like for free, for £1.
Project Jennifer, honest to God, I keep banging on about it. I've had crap off, hate mail about it. I've had text threats to my family about it. But I'm telling you now, it's criminal that they gave away them pieces of land for Project Jennifer to that developer
Well, that is corruption.
for 1 point and for land for nothing to the developer. And then that developer, St Modwin, sold it to another developer for 1.2 million.
Wow.
That was our community money. That took me
That's
5 years
one-
to get to the bottom
so
of that. 'cause
basically,
hell,
you're
it's
just
not-
giving away. So I just think this corruption is like to a very high level because, you know, someone's taking underhanders for this. No one's just giving away things for £1 without taking a massive briefcase
Project
full of
Jennifer, I'm
bloody
telling you now,
cash.
there needs to be an
There's
independent.
no way.
An independent
It's like
investigation into it.
1.2 million. If someone's selling something, a bit of land for 1.2 million, which he's got for £1,
No, £600,000, 2 pieces of land. So £600,000 each for 2 pieces of land during Project Jennifer. But what I'm telling you, Project Jennifer, is that paid, Section 106 community money, paid 6 grand, right? No, 8 grand, sorry. Not a penny of that was spent on Everton. Then when Lidl opened, they paid another 6 grand. Not a penny of that was spent on Everton. It was all spent on legal fees. With a similar development in Allen, I think it was, a Tesco, the same size, £1 million 106. Now, my problem with Project Jennifer is it sucks so much away from the area. And what we've got a Sainsbury's, okay, great, a Lidl, and fast food places. But you've also opened a 24-hour gym, literally 30 seconds away
Next
from Everton
door.
Park Sports Centre. Why was that allowed?
Stupid.
They took away the doctors on Great Ormond Street. They took away the dentist, which was my dentist. They took away the library and promised to bring it all back. The whole thing from start to finish needs to be looked into because they've given land away for free, they've took stuff away and not brought it back. They've got next to nothing of the 106 and there's no benefit in the community for it.
But that's not, I don't think you can land that personally, Kevin may disagree, at the door of whoever it is who built it, who was it, St Modwin. It's the council's fault. The council gave that away or sold that for nothing or sold a plot of land for £1. It's not the developer. The developer will go, oh, great this.
Yeah.
But the
Shows you
council
the
are
kind of
giving
developer they're
away
dealing with.
my money by giving this stuff for nothing, and it's not for benefit, and they don't follow it through. Where did the Section 106 money from the Bramley-Moore Stadium go to?
Cropsey Park.
Yeah.
Okay, so
hospital.
do you know how
It's supposed to be ours.
if I was to be a judge, do you know how I would resolve this? I'd be like, whoever was in charge at the time of that council, whoever was in charge, bring them here, summon them, look at their bank statements and all accounts from the period they were in power. And I'll look at every little thing where the money's come in, and then I'll look at the dates and time of when that land was sold, and then I'll look for discrepancies within that account, how much money has come in around those dates, and then I'll say, okay,
What
mate,
should have
where
happened?
did that money come from? And then I'll be, okay,
You won't do it that easy.
I'll investigate it, and I'll investigate, because at the end of the day, look, one thing we know, everything is digitally traceable.
Yeah,
Every
unless you're paying cash.
transaction is
Unless you're
traceable.
paying cash.
Unless it's paid in cash, but
Like the
even the
Beautiful
cash.
Ideas company.
Okay, so wait.
No,
Even
sometimes I don't
Yeah.
think you've got a clue of it without being disrespectful.
yeah, but the thing is,
What I'm
bank
saying to you
accounts, bank accounts are traceable, right?
Yeah, but cash isn't.
Digitally, yeah, in
There's
cash
a lot of
form
cash
it
being
isn't.
floated
In
around
cash
the
form
city.
it isn't. But hang on, that cash still has to get spent somehow or get
Shipped
put
off
away
or,
somewhere.
or put
Yeah,
to
but
different
the-
companies. Yeah, the
yes,
Beautiful Ideas company. With the car park that was on Walton Road at the end used to be Notre Dame School. They
I
were
know what you
taking
mean.
in £10 notes all the time, cash only,
Yeah.
Cash
on the
only,
benefit.
A lot of car parks do that.
Yeah, but this was run by Liverpool. This were councillors who were running it.
Okay.
So yeah, Councillor Nick Small, who's still a councillor,
Yeah,
unbeknownst to me.
but the thing is, if you're giving cash money in a volume, large volume, that's money laundering then.
So what
It
the
comes
idea of
under
the Beautiful
money
Ideas Company
laundering,
was,
so
it's going to be £10 a car. All that money that you collect goes to benefit the Everton and Anfield community.
well, I don't think
It
these
never-
I don't think
never
these
benefited.
people are that. Look, they might be in a position of authority where they are milking it, whatever. I don't think they're that clever. They're gonna slip up. There's gonna be something
I
discrepancies
don't know. I think a
in
lot of
their
them.
accounts and stuff.
I'm not talking about Liverpool in specific, but certain people who are involved. There's very high up gangsters. You know what I mean?
course, of
Across the
course.
world who are involved.
Yeah, of course. I
Not
believe
just
that.
not just here. Do you know what I mean? So when I'm hoping when everything comes out in 2027, people will realise,
Yeah.
wow, look what they've done to the city.
Hopefully.
These are our people. Do you know what I mean? Labour, working class, and all that. You're voting for these people to come in to represent you. My council has been a councillor for about 20 years in my ward. She was on the same site as when Fox Street happened and Project Jennifer and all that. If that was me as a councillor, I'd fight against getting that happen. I'd go, hang on a minute. Why is only 20 people knew about this? But I want everyone in the area to know about it, so everyone has a say. Whereas at the minute, it's like a closed shop. If you want to do a consultation, the bare minimum, we'll get it through. Whereas it should be everyone invited who were in a certain distance, do you know what I mean? And now, you've got the likes of us trying to campaign for that. I'm hoping people will go, that's the right way of doing it. Not the way when we went down to that consultation for the park, we knocked it a few hours, didn't we? Literally, 20 yards away from the spot, from the place.
Didn't know
No one
about the
knew about
meeting. Didn't know about the
Do you know
meeting.
what I mean? You can't say to me that's a community consultation done properly when nobody
You
who
seem
lives
to
on
be
the
doing a lot
doorstep.
more for the communities than Labour. But
They're hard sometimes.
I know before we
breathe.
Can I just say one thing when you were talking about corruption and all that and rules? Do you know when the government, it might have been Conservative, sorry if it wasn't, called in Mr. Calder, was it, or Calder? Max Calder to Liverpool City Council to investigate it because it was bad and corruption. What should have happened to all the councillors?
get shut of them.
Should have been sacked,
Yeah.
but they weren't. He just came in and looked at it, changed it, and now they're free of all the, it's supposed to be all right, or that's what's said. So he's come in, he might have changed the chief exec and a couple of people like that, but I'm telling you now, if somebody's brought in because the council isn't being run properly, get rid of the council.
100%.
Yeah.
Not like pander to them and say, oh, if you change that and get that fella in there, or, no, bin them all.
Been them all,
Two
yeah.
points.
Because
7
it's
million
their
cost us.
fault, it's like that.
Cost who? Taxpayers.
Taxpayers, 2 points. Them Tory commissioners who came in and sat there and done nothing from what I've seen, 2.7 million that cost
Wow.
us. And now they've got an oversight board. Do you know what I mean? They were working from home. I put a FOI in. They were working from home. Getting,
Sometimes I wonder as well with these costings that they come out with, they can't be legit, man. Sometimes I think to myself, they make these figures up just to milk it, and you know you can get the work like for way less, and I just don't think that this is right. Like, you know,
Or flip it and say you shouldn't be selling a plot of land for £1
Yeah.
when you can get loads more dough and
Exactly.
use it for the benefits of the community.
It's like £1 for that, and then overcharging, and then half that money has gone into someone's pocket, and half the money has been used to fix it in a certain way. So, you know, like when you gave an example of that roof thing. So I'm just thinking to myself, like,
Why didn't they fix it when it was a tiny hole?
it's exactly, yeah, like that was a great example. So I'm thinking
Saves a
to
lot of money
myself,
then, doesn't it, really?
you know, you
Yeah.
deal with it there and then as soon as the problem occurs, and it's done on the cheap. It's going to be done in 1,000 rather than 150,000, right? So
Because they're incompetent of implementing a maintenance program, which you'll see. I'm in construction. I've told you that a few times. Maintenance program, little bit of that, little bit of that, little bit of that. No money. Then you go 150 grand. Not when I've got a maintenance program. It's not.
exactly.
But if you haven't got one, the roof will cave in.
Notre Dame wanted that. Well, we're talking 2 years, it's been rumoured. Notre Dame's seen the state of that building. So when they seen it, because don't forget the roof didn't get... The funny thing is, the roof got damaged in December, but it's been closed till now. It's still closed now. The work didn't start till May. So why have you cost 4 or 5 months of keeping it closed without doing the work, for one? And two, when the multi-academy trust St. Joseph seen it, why didn't they go, yeah, why did they say, yeah, we'll take it? If you buy a car of someone, the fucking wheel falls off a year later, you're not going to take it back to the owner and say the wheels fall off, pay for a new wheel. They must have seen the state of the roof. They must have seen the state of the building. It should be,
So the scene.
oh, we're getting that off massively.
Maybe sold a senior. Yeah.
What would you
just get that off.
before we wrap up now? What would you say to the people who aren't voting for you, to Labour?
I hope people see what we're doing and continue to support us. To Labour, stop bowing to the whip. Do you know what I mean? And have a bit of principle and have a bit of backbone.
John?
John, would you like to say anything to the people?
No, it's just the fact that I think people should get in their head that, you know, stop voting for Labour because your mum did and your granddad and everybody that's in your family have. So have I. But I could not be part of Labour the way they're carrying on and running the city to the detriment to the residents. All I'm interested in is helping the residents, and if they like what we're doing, vote for us. If you don't, I'm not really that bothered. But I'll carry on doing all I can for the lovely residents of this area who are beautiful people.